What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to World of Warships, where today we're going to have a look at another viewer replay. This one submitted by Stuff Rules once again, who you may remember has had a few of his games featured on my channel. It is a ranked battle, and he is in his Tier 8 North Carolina. He has actually now officially unlocked the Iowa. He informed me while we were just chatting, I think after he submitted this replay. He has unlocked the Iowa. He's just waiting to be able to afford it, as well as some of the hull upgrades. So hopefully we'll be able to see some Iowa gameplay from him in the future. But yeah, as I said, it's a ranked battle. Teams are a little bit weird. 3 battleships on each team. The enemy team has 2 North Carolinas and a Nagato, if memory serves. No, Colorado, sorry. 2 North Carolinas and a Colorado. Stuff Rules team has himself in the North Carolina. They then have a Tirpitz, and then they have a Nagato. So fairly even. And here we got the Colorado, 21 kilometers. So we'll just have to go see how it happens. But before the action really starts, I thought I'd share a little bit of news with you guys. You'll be watching this video on Friday, if you're watching on the day it comes out. It's currently Wednesday when I'm recording this commentary, and hopefully today I will officially be partnered with the TGN YouTube network, which you may or may not know is the second largest gaming YouTube network on YouTube. I suppose YouTube gaming network on YouTube. But they actually approached me a while ago and offered a partnership, which I have since accepted, but I did need to give my previous network a month's notice. So hopefully today it will all be changed and I'll be partnered with TGN. I'd heard some bad things about them from other YouTubers, but we'll see how it goes. Got nothing to lose by trying. But anyways, now he is about to take his first shots of the match at this Colorado. Fires off his front 2 guns. I actually also had some trouble recording this replay, and there the shots are going to drop, and unfortunately it splices. But at about this point, the tags above 3 of the enemy ships got stuck onto the screen, and just moved no matter where you were looking, and no other tags showed up, and the shells from his guns weren't rendering, and I very nearly had to tell him that it wasn't working, but I also mentioned to him that I hadn't actually updated my client, because I still had other replays to record and didn't want them to stop working. Thankfully I got those all recorded, and fires off another salvo and manages to get a hit and a citadel, and as soon as the client was updated, everything worked properly, so that was quite lucky. But anyway, so far his team has captured A. They're fighting over B, so they have a 48-point advantage right now. No one has gotten any kills yet, but obviously Stuff Rules has managed to get himself a citadel, which is always welcome when you're in a big bad battleship. And he's just going to start moving towards B, because that is obviously, as you can see on the minimap, where the majority of the enemy team is. His team's also there. There is a battleship behind him. What's that? D5, which I believe is their Nagato, and that guy's actually just going to be an idiot. And Stuff Rules is actually going to give him give him a piece of his mind in chat a little later, because I don't know what that guy's doing sitting there. But anyway, that Otago has just been killed, but he immediately returns the favor from beyond the grave and destroys one of his allies. So it is the Atlanta on his team that is down, and the Otago on the enemy team that is down. So each team has lost 1 ship now, but still, because the enemy team has yet to capture B, Stuff Rules' team is slowly pulling further and further into the lead. Manages to get 3 hits, 9 and just under 10,000 damage. Was that on the Miyoko, or was it spread out between the 2? Couldn't quite see. But so another good solid hit there, and some solid damage numbers done. North Carolina takes a stab at him. Now the other one's going to take a stab at him, and Stuff Rules slowed down, so the shells sailed harmlessly into the water in front of him. And I mean, he's yet to take any damage, but shots coming in from the Miyoko, those also look like they potentially missed. Someone else has fired at the North Carolina, and Stuff Rules' shots were led well, but unfortunately RNG made them splice. So the enemy team has officially captured B. I think it's someone sitting on the other side of the island, I imagine, and just capping in there out of sight. They're going to take a shot at Stone Wall Tank in his North Carolina. How are these shells going to do? Looks like not quite enough lead, and elevation was a little on the low side as well, so no hits there. But here is our Colorado that we hit for a Citadel earlier, and unfortunately the guns were not reloaded in time to take advantage of his angle when he came around the corner, because not only was he fairly flat, but then he was also turning, so lifting his hull out of the water, which probably would have given him a rather easy time at hitting that Citadel. But it doesn't matter, puts 3 shots into the front for 11,500 damage. And now this guy's down to 15, and there is also this Mahan at 7.7, Wonder away. Lots of shells are coming at him, but he is reversing, and a lot of them are landing in the water in front of him. This is actually not really a position you want to be in the North Carolina, this close to a Colorado, but because he's got his nose pointed directly at him, the Colorado is very low on health. It's not too much of an issue. 5 hits for 7,000, Colorado is down to 400 health. 2 fires burning, so he burns his repair team or damage control team and puts the fire out. Now he's got this Otago who's sitting broadside onto him. Not a very smart move by the Otago. 7 seconds, or now it's less than 5 seconds to go until he can fire again. The Miyoko is firing at him. Got torpedo warnings coming in. And going to take one here. Yes, he is. And unfortunately, he's also going to start the flooding. And he's got 1 minute and 13 seconds to wait until the flooding stops by itself. Managed to get some hits onto the Otago, but no Citadel, no massive amount of damage, but any damage is good damage. The enemy team has obviously lost that Colorado, but his team also lost a cruiser, which was pieces of pizza. And again, just now he's been set on fire in 2 places. And there you can see Stuff Rules in the chat telling the Nagato to get into the fight, because I don't know what he's doing there. He's a brawling battleship. He needs to get up and help deal with these enemies, but he's sitting at range. Just who knows. Another salvo going in. 2 hits for 2,600, but he looks like someone else did get a fairly good hit on that Otago, who's now down to 8,000 odd. Potentially launching torpedoes from the other side of his ship. And here come some of them, possibly. Are they from him or the Mahan? Not entirely sure. But these 2 fires and the flooding have seriously destroyed his health pool. Fires a salvo, gets a hit, 503 damage to secure his first kill of the match. But he is down to just under 6,000 health. Thankfully, this torpedo widespread, so it is going to miss. Doesn't really even have to do anything to try and get out of its way. But very low health. He's got to wait another 45 seconds and he can use his damage control or repair team. God, I always get those 2 mixed up. He can use his repair team to build up his hit points back. But the enemy team, now with the loss of that Otago, they're down 3 ships to Stuff Rules' team's 2. They are trying to capture A, but I mean they're nearly 220 points behind at this precise moment. But if they do capture A, then they will begin to whittle down that points lead very quickly, trying to get his guns around onto the Mahan of Wonder away. And unfortunately, that salvo just harmlessly lands in the water and no damage done. He did destroy one of the Allied destroyers. So it's back to 3 losses on each team right now. Thankfully, this North Carolina was not quite paying attention to Stuff Rules, because that could have ended very badly His guns were not facing him. He was facing down the Nagato and the Tirpitz, and perhaps another cruiser, because he would have had quite a nice flat shot on Stuff Rules had he been paying attention in this direction. So, his loss, we're going to fire off a full salvo. Again, not quite enough lead, but it is always a little bit difficult in battleships. Unfortunately, they just land harmlessly in the water. I mean, this guy's on 54,500 hit points. He's got considerably more than Stuff Rules does. Looks like the Nagato has finally moved up, or rather we've moved back to him, but he is kind of getting into the fight now, but he is firing his shots at the Mahan. Not the best use of his 16-inch guns. But anyways, we've got all guns on target now, so we're going to fire off a full salvo. And I do believe Stuff Rules starts moving forward now into the B cap and gets 4 hits there. Didn't quite see how much damage. And thankfully we started moving forward because here comes a salvo of torpedoes from that pesky American destroyer. And thankfully no hits on any of the battleships in this area. So again, just going to start moving towards B and capture that. I mean, you can see the enemy team is very quickly reversed the points difference and is even in the lead now. Not by much, but it is something. And the Miyoko is just chilling on the other side of A. Don't really have a shot at him. But Stuff Rules is turning his guns to the starboard side of his ship. Because if memory serves, he is going to head into the cap zone and then turn to port. So having his guns on this side will mean they are ready to fire at that North Carolina in B and C 10 when he gets a shot on him, hopefully at a decent angle. Also, having his guns this way means if there is anything that's going to come through this passage on the starboard side in front of him, he will be ready to shoot at it. Alright, and as you can see, the second North Carolina has popped up in D8 and 9. He's turning his ship. Is he going to continue trying to turn? Or is he going to now turn over to port? I don't quite remember. But his guns are now actually facing in the wrong direction. But he's going to get them turned around. And here comes Toon Dragon, we'll call him that, who is firing at the Nagato. Doesn't do any serious damage to the Japanese battleship. Turrets, front turrets at least, are almost on target. And a nice close range. And it also looks like Toon Dragon is going to turn and expose his broadside to us. Very nice indeed. So, just waiting on the shot. Fires his front 2 guns. Looking good. 4 hits and a Citadel, wiping out most of his health. We didn't quite see exactly how much damage he did. But now this Mahan, who has been irritating for most of the match, is now behind him at 3.5 kilometers. Secondaries are opening up, trying to get his rear turret on target, which he does. Awesome grouping on that shot. And lands all 3 hits, finishing off the Mahan, but he was set on fire, and there is every chance that the American destroyer was able to get its torpedoes off in time, and indeed there they are. It doesn't look like there's much room for him to maneuver and get out of the way completely. Unfortunately, eats 1, but is able to dodge the rest of them, but now he is pointing squarely at an island. Thankfully it did not start flooding that time. But I mean, he would have been able to use his damage control teams to stop the flooding while putting out that fire at the same time. He has burnt his final repair party, and he will build himself back up to 22,000 hit points, I think, once it is done. Got the Miyoko at 17 kilometers, all guns on target. He's going to fire off a full salvo. He is trying to stop and start reversing so he can start maneuvering again. This time it looks like he gave a pretty good lead, but unfortunately RNG, maybe he had a little bit too much elevation, and RNG punished him for it, and the shots splice the enemy Miyoko. But I mean, sniping cruisers at that range is always a bit finicky. But now the enemy team is nearly 200 points ahead of them. They are equal on numbers now, 2 versus 2. But Stuff Rules team does have the advantage, I'd say, because it is 2 battleships versus a battleship and a cruiser. This North Carolina is at 5 kilometers. Is he going to be the first target that Stuff Rules deals with? The Nagato is down to very low health. It just doesn't seem to have been the most amazing ally to have in this match. Taking 5 from the Miyoko down to 7,200. He has at least gotten a kill. And now we just wait and see how is this North Carolina angled, and it is perfectly flat on. Full broadside at the waterline. 7 hits, a citadel, high caliber, and 30,000 damage. But unfortunately, the Nagato is not able to hang on. And their Stonewall Tank says, holy crap. Stuff Rule says hi. It's always great when you catch a battleship, enemy battleship off guard like that. I mean, he should have known that Stuff Rules was there and not come around the corner like that, but he didn't, and he got severely punished. Salvo of torpedoes coming in from the Miyoko, but these should run out of range. Another hit, 4,000 damage, and Confederate, because he's 12 kilometers away. Are they going to run out? Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure what that North Carolina is getting at. Is Meckel's the Wonder Bitch? Not entirely sure. But, yeah, I mean, the Miyoko is just too far away to effectively use his torpedoes. And what he might want to try and do, but he gets 2 citadels, never mind, and finishes them off. What he probably should have done is charge him. It's what I probably would have done in a Japanese cruiser. But anyways, on to the results. And as you can see, it was indeed a victory and a rather good game for Stuff Rule. Sometimes you do just have to carry in these ranked battles. He earned himself 240,000 credits, 3,700 reputation, lot of ribbons, which was possibly Dreadnought there. There was High Caliber, Confederate, Devastating Strike, I think was that. I'm not sure what all of those are, but I think that's the gist of what he earned. He got 40 target hits, 1 incapacitation, 4 kills, 1 fire, 5 citadels, and assisted a base capture once, and completed the mission Get Ranked. As for where he came on the team, I think it comes as a little surprise. He was first place on the team, with the Nagato actually coming second, with 1,652 base XP. Narrowly above the Hatsuharu, but it didn't really feel like that guy did a whole lot. But maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, enemy team Wander Away in the Mahan first with 1,839 base experience. So he had a pretty good game for himself, it must be said. On to damage done. He did 151,000 armor piercing damage. A massive 87 damage from fire, and nearly 1,200 damage from his secondary battery. So a very good game. Sometimes you just have to carry for yourself. Anyways, Stuff Rules, thank you very much for sending in this replay. I enjoyed watching it. I hope you guys did too. If you've had an epic, awesome replay, please feel free to check the description down below for the email address that you guys can use to submit your amazing replays to me if you want to have a chance to get featured on my channel. But anyways, that is it from me. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. Consider subscribing for more World of Warships content, as well as Armored Warfare. I keep wanting to say War Thunder, as well as a few other things I throw into the mix from time to time. But anyways, that is it from me. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.